if you feel like you are in the pits at your current workspace, if you feel like you are in the pits, if you feel like there's a darkness, there's all of a sudden like things are not working, your best friend at work suddenly is definitely, is 18 on you, your boss who used to like you, who used to eat lunch or buy lunch together, all of a sudden has turned their back then you may definitely want to watch this episode and stay with us. Immaturity as well, you definitely want
should
to.
have
And you might also want to catch the previous episode. If you're not new here, you don't. So I'm doing a quick recap on what we missed, on what you may have missed, and of course at the SeunBDs Corner well, with the S in the middle, and Joseph, of course, YouTube, and then you might want to catch it as well. Maybe because so I know that sometimes working. So a number of us, when we get promoted, we're always quick to tell our colleagues. Not that you shouldn't share with your colleagues, because again, you have they're not your best friends, or they're going to take your promotion away from you. But sometimes you also need it to marinate as well. Let it cook. Let it. Will be now. But was and into just thought, madam likes me. Oh my God, madam. And it was just like, no, once bitten, twice shy. My brother sold me to slavery. I am not going to fall for this. I am just going to live out the pact correctly. And then I'd also mentioned that I'm not sure how that would have gone today, because again, Potiphar's wife could also be that invoice. Potiphar's wife could also be that bribe. Potiphar's wife could also represent a number of things. So while you may not necessarily have access to your boss's house, and because that is not your line of work, but again, you need to think about it that Potiphar's wife could represent a number of different things. It could represent you missing deadlines. It could present the project. It could present even a presentation or research that your boss has asked you to do, and yes, you're going to use AI to start it off, but then again, you should still apply yourself and that your gift to it also. Potiphar's wife could represent a number of things in today's world, in our current workspace. Okay, so Joseph refused, and I remember closing out to say that it was clear that Joseph was not definitely carrying his sadness, his anger, and the fact that his brother sold him to slavery, is in a foreign land. If he gets hold of those his brother and will show them pepper, how dare them, and everything. And he wasn't even sad that my father is not looking for me. I've opened Twitter, I don't see any flyer that says, oh, we're looking for our Joseph. He's a boy with 7 rainbow colors jacket that our father sold for him. Great. You just, again, don't forget, we're relating it to today's. Okay, so I didn't say it was Twitter back then. I'm just giving you an example, right? And because again, it doesn't look like where, I mean, I've said that people should just forgive me on my geography and my name calling. So because if his brothers could think of Egypt to go and look for food, then it wasn't literally that far, right? So then again, they weren't going to look for him because they told their father that he was dead. So yeah, so nobody was going to look for him, but he did not know that. So he could have just thought that nobody was looking for him, and he was just sad, and he'll be carrying around his shoulder. And I also give an example that sometimes you actually then find out that a lot of people are just angry. I was giving an example that there's some people that you just be driving, you go to your mechanic is just angry. You don't know why he's angry. Like, why are you angry? I've just come to come and patronize your business. You're angry at me. And a lot of people are just angry for some things that you can't even control. Now, coming back to Joseph, then of course, Potiphar's wife then screamed, "This Hebrew slave that you brought, look at what he tried to do," and then showed his t-shirt as evidence. Evidence. Now, evidence must always be of him being there and everything. And then before you know it, he was thrown into jail. Now, one of the things that usually baffled me, even when I didn't really understand this story as much as I understand it, and in this way that I'm even able to tell you and express it to you, right, is I don't think I understood the fact that, because I've never been to prison before, so God be the glory, and I will never have to be. The fact is that is a prisoner that, one, is not even from that land, is not from that state, is not from that country, thrown into prison, and then is now made it's to be in charge. There are many qualities that he must have displayed. Don't you think so? Let's think about it for a minute. There are many qualities he must have displayed: respectfulness, willingness to help. Probably, he must. I believe Joseph had dimples, because for Potiphar's wife to look at him and think, come here, let me sample you. He must have been a very fine boy, right? And he had, and he still had that courage and that personality that he was still going to be placed in charge of the prison. And it wasn't anyhow prison they threw him into. I hope you know, because it was anyhow prison they threw him into. He won't be meeting the chief butler. He won't be meeting the people that serves the king. Like it was in a prison with like prime ministers, governors, head of those kind of like senators, people that were in parliament. Those are people that he was in prison with. Do you think that if he was an angry person, and if he was still bitter about what has just happened to him, whereby he has just been hijacked by his brothers, not by his friends, hey God, his brothers, hey, even if they don't be the same mama, at least the same papa, his brothers, right? And yet he still went to prison and he was still put in charge. I don't think he was moody. I don't think he was angry. I don't think he had a angry face. I don't think he had a out to get them. What is this? Is it only me? God, why me? And I don't think he was bitter. I think he was just getting along. Like, okay, I don't know where this is going to take me to, but I might keep my eyes focused on God. So sometimes in our workplace, I know that it can be very hard. I mean, I've worked in toxic place, so I know what toxic means. And I also know that sometimes, even as an employee, I can also be toxic as well. But I know that we don't like to talk about that. We always just like to believe that we are the so cool ones and we are the ones that always work in a toxic place. That wherever we are, it's a place that is toxic. And we ourselves are not toxicated, if there's a word like that. But that's not why we're here. We're talking about Joseph. Let's just stay on the ball, right? So I know that sometimes we work in a place where it is not so conducive, and maybe you were sold a dream while you were applying for the role, and then you all of a sudden got into the place of work, and it is what I ordered versus what I got, and then you now decide to now start carrying your feelings on your shoulder or on your sleeves, and then even the person that does not even know anything about what happened to you are already telling them stories. Because you need to understand that what kind of personality or what kind of character would Joseph have shown that when he had a dream, he was the one that they went to call. That means that he still was showing his talent and he was still showing his skills in the prison, guys. Like, in the prison, he doesn't even know if he's going to be released. He doesn't even know when anything would happen. He doesn't even know when would Potiphar ever believe that he never touched his wife or it wasn't him? He doesn't even know whether the other people, do you remember that when he translated one of the dreams to someone, he did say, "Don't forget me." Because that means that he knew that Potiphar, he has forgotten him, he's gone. No evidence of when he's going to come out. But guess what, guys? He was not there with an attitude. It was there, all smiley, like, okay, I don't know when I'm going to go out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to give it my all. And he kept giving his all in the prison in a foreign land. Think about that and digest that. So you're at work, your boss doesn't like you one day, then you go, you're angry. That's why you now decide to start coming late to work because there was a promotion that you were supposed to get, they didn't give you. So you now decide to come late to work. Then now maybe did not promote you, they promoted other people. Instead of you to still give it your best because they are still paying you. You're like, no, no, you know what? From today, I'm done. And did they put you inside prison? In a foreign land, you are still going home to sleep inside AC. Okay, you're still going home to sleep with fan on inside generator. What's the problem? A child of God. Please don't speaking to children of God. I'm not saying you're a child of Satan. I'm just saying, please, I beg. I am sent to some. Let me do like Jesus. I am sent to some certain people that I'm sent to that read their Bible. People that I'm speaking to. Right? Think about it. So you are still there. If you're still going to there, you still have to shine your light. Joseph went to. It was. It went Okay. All right. I am sure you can hear me now. After after sorry, so okay, you can hear me now. So after Instagram people, if you've not been listening to me, if you've not been hearing me, please, yeah, I'm gonna have to go and watch the replay on. Okay. So after I have to keep my eyes on my mic, so just let me know. So after all of that had happened, guess what? Guess what then happened? They forgot him. In short, it was forgotten. And when it was forgotten, what did he do? He just carried on. He carried on doing his thing, and it's probably just believing that, you know what, one day someone will remember me. One day something will change, hoping and holding faith and giving it his best. Are you not even remembering me? Why all of a sudden are you not even mentioning my names and all of that? And then you're angry. You're angry. Slouch, you're like, I'm done, what is all this? And then you resign into your own shell. I hope you guys will be able to hear me properly on Instagram. Let me check that you can hear me. Okay, so he then realized that, okay, you'll be able to hear me, but you just have the echo and the issue noise. Sorry about that. Okay, so he then realized that, you know what, this is actually just my end, almost like to the end of the road. Like, I've been forgotten, I just get on with my life. And he just carried on. What would you have done if that was you? Wouldn't you have resigned? You'd have resigned, no? Wouldn't you have gone back and be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to show them, those people, they think they can. But we keep praying for miracle. But do you remember that it was in that same prison that Joseph got his miracle? Yeah. It was in that same prison where he was forgotten. That same prison where he was thrown when he shouldn't have been. He was accused, wrongly accused. That same prison where his brothers were the one that orchestrated that journey for him getting to that prison. That was where his miracle was found. Okay, so that's why I was saying in the previous session that when we're praying for the Joseph blessings, let's just be careful. You know these things, we don't sit down to actually understand the role play, to figure out like, okay, what could have happened? How could they have been feeling? We just want the end of the blessing, and that's what we see a lot nowadays. Everyone just wants to get to the end of the dream, the end of the journey. But you see that process, we almost want to jump it. I'm sure you've heard it so many times about it, so let me not flog it too much. Back to Joseph. So they forgot him. And then the butler went, everybody went, he kept seeing people passing by. He was still in charge, so that means that he didn't feel like Anami helped that guy. Even when the butler and all of them were even throwing people back in the prison, they're like, how was it? Did you imagine? It was that butler. He told me that I stole meat. Something that I stole 2 meat. So Potiphar is like, that guy. The English translation of that is like he's done convos. I'm just joking. Like he's doing things. So Joseph was hearing of the different things they were doing outside. Joseph was like, and Nami, it was me that helped that guy. It was me that told that guy. Years passed, day and night. Prisoners in, out, cleaning sheets, cleaning everything, doing nonsense. Yes, I'm sure it was maybe applying to go to another prison, or I'm sure it was, a lot of things would have crossed his mind. Like a lot of things to cross our mind when we're on that journey, and we don't, the end, we can't even see the end. We can only see today, but instead of still giving it our best today, we want to drop the ball immediately, creating and giving a temporary reaction. Giving a permanent reaction to a temporary issue. It's temporary, it's a journey, it's going to pass. But because of where we are now and how we want it now, we allow it to drop. Back to Joseph. So everybody left, and then of course one time it was time for Pharaoh who was now dreaming one dream. Everybody was not understanding it. Everybody was like, what's wrong with all of you? Don't understand this thing. Then maybe he must have threatened, like, if all of you, if you cannot tell me this dream in the next 24 hours, I'm going to sack all of you. One guy now thought, maybe when he was driving in his Benz, because it can't be a Bentley, so maybe I can drive a Bentley. When guy was now driving his Benz, so was like, they're going to sack us tomorrow. And I just bought summer ticket for my children. And I just changed school, as per way they have increased the salary. I was thinking, actually when I was in when he was in Kirikiri, there was that person. Now the next day, I said, King, I've done something very bad. Did you know that what even made me to be here standing in front of you was because he was had been threatened. that we are going to take all this, maybe because people are comfortable, there's now driver, there's now chef, there's now gateman, so it's not. So when Pharaoh said, I will sack everybody and wipe all of you out if you don't, you mean that all of you are just collecting bonus, collecting allowance, collecting this, collecting that, yet none of you can even give me wisdom. What is now your use? Then they now remember the intent that gave him the idea. Then Joseph was asked to get ready, to have his bath, to shave. Honestly, Joseph was a fine boy. Let's forget story. Joseph was a fine boy. I was not told like the king, Potiphar wants you, what? I wish I had my Bible with me, because Joseph, even before he started talking, he still made reference to his God. You see, the people love Old Testament people, they love God though. Like, I was listening to Pastor Lawrence Oyo today, and it was like the way Jonah predicts God, and God still followed Jonah's prediction. Like some people, as in God allowed a tree to grow in hours just to cover Jonah from the sun. There are some relationships that when you read, a lot of us like to run away from Old Testament. I know we're New Testament generation, but better go and read Old Testament and understand process. And understand that yes, why you need to affirm as well. There are some other workings that you have to do. And most of the people that did workings, their blessings, they were mentioned in the name of the Bible. Their names came out. So he got dressed, he went. Fast forward, he translated the dream, became prime minister. You see that Joseph and his brother story. I don't know. I don't think we can finish that one this night. I think, I've said that this is going to always be a 20-minute thing, so that we don't always flog it too long. So let's end it next week. Or what I'll probably do is I'll just do shorter clips of Joseph and Joseph's brother, and like maybe we just have a whole week talking about it, because I think understanding when the Holy Spirit, of course, ministered Joseph and his brothers' connection to me, it was forgiveness and letting go. I think that was actually where I learned it, like forgiveness and letting go. What the enemy what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for good. It's from Joseph's story. So I don't know what you are thinking. Maybe you're thinking that I said I will never make it in life. You have to go through workings. You understand? Because Joseph's brother meant evil for him. And he even recognized him. They no fit recognize him back. That is, see, when God blesses you, it is you that would recognize people, except if you now decide that you don't want to call upon them and you just don't, like, you didn't see them. They may not recognize you. Some people will still recognize you though, but there's a way God will bless you that people like, is that not? Remember, there was a particular person that Jesus healed in the New Testament, and they were even arguing among themselves. See, when God's blessing shines on you, because you have applied the values, you've applied the principle, it's a different shining like you come out to be. I tell you, because my life is one of that testimony. It's different. They could not recognize, it was what that recognized them. And you and I know, because even me say I go do them. Once I recognize them, like, hey, God has caught you people. You mean you people can come, lock the door. In fact, beat them. First of all, beat each of them first. Before I now say, hey, look, you don't know me. Where le mommy? Let me speak Ijebu small. Where le mommy? You can't. How can you know me? Because you were not expect. How can you know me? There's something called God maths. If you don't know what it is today, which is not in the Bible, God maths. That's your human mind can never comprehend God maths, because it's God maths. 1 + 1 is 2. That's now God is 2 - 2 × 5 raised to the power of 7 - 0 minus everything equals 2. God maths. It was God maths, because their own maths, even the reader, even me, when you read it, that mathematics does not add up. But with God, you leave it to Him. They did not recognize Him. They did not even know Him. Even when it broke down, it's your network. You need to log out and log back in. So they didn't recognize Him. They did not recognize Him. They didn't even know Him. And yet, He just made sure He forgave them. He asked. He wept with them. He ate. They could not even eat. He was the one eating with them. That means He has forgiven them. He has forgiven them a long time ago. He has forgiven them a long time ago. What are you still holding on to? The boss of how many years ago? The place that you're working. So they didn't promote you. Okay. Yes, it's painful. But do you know that could be part of the things that is preparing you for the next level? It could be. How ready are you still holding on to the pain of, oh, you think that guy didn't promote me? I will show him. Okay. Show him what? You're a child of God. You're praying for favor. You're praying for acceleration. You're praying for a lot of things. You need to let go of the offense in your heart and breathe. Joseph did not carry his feelings on his sleeves. Joseph did not do, you know what? Now that I will show them. Those people, hey, all of them, lock them up, show them times 10 of what they showed me. So then they can, I'll forgive them more, but they must experience it first. Why? Could it be an offense and a feeling that you are harboring and a particular reaction that is even stopping you from breaking through? Could it be? Could it also be that maybe you have allowed one person's reaction or one person's misbehavior or one person's denial of what you deserve? Because yes, you might have deserved it and someone could have cut you short. I mean, what did Joseph do to deserve being sold by his brothers? Because told them that his father made coat and then he dreamt that they bowed down. Did they not bow down to him? And then Ejo, please, did they not bow that bowing down? Even though they prolonged it, did they not still bow down to him? About did they speak that English? They did. So at the workplace, I know that, and that's what I always tell a lot of people that that I share things with. While it is great, work is great, and you're just thinking, work is work, Bible is Bible. Bible and work at the same time. As long as you're a child of God and you're a faith believer, and you're a child of God that reads your Bible, studies your Bible, reads the lines, like reads it. You can read one chapter for a whole week. Open one chapter, open one verse, go to your YouVision, open different translations. So maybe you're used to King James, you're using open YouVision and open to translations, and then check how different, read it, compare, because sometimes GNT can give you a different meaning than AMP would, than another translation would. So read them and then try and think, okay, in my life currently, how does this apply? In my finances, how does this apply? In my workspace, how does this apply? Don't always think that it only applies to people that hate you, or people that you can't condone, or people that you don't like. No, sometimes it applies to just you reforming and changing a certain perspective of you. So we've come to the end of Joseph. I hope I did do justice to the part of Joseph and his brother. I think that what I'll just do is maybe just over the next couple of days or this week, I will just do a couple of live and clips and just drop on what my taking on how Joseph dealt with his brothers and all of that, and use that. But for the purpose of this is where we're going to stop. Q1 2026, we're looking at the Old Testament characters in today's workplace. So now we've finished dealing with Joseph. Okay, we've talked about Joseph and how we can apply, his journey, his blessings to this. Sorry, I'm trying to read comments. Okay, to this workplace, right? So to today's workplace. So what the next one? I'm not sure. Again, I always say, like, I pray about these things. Like, it's not. Even I always have to go back and watch like sessions and listen and see where I have to change as well, because I think it's AGS that does that, and I'm not even the prophet, I'm just sharing from what I know. But I like to go back as well. So I know there is also Daniel, there is Nehemiah. I would like to really talk about Daniel and Nehemiah, and I don't know whether it was Abraham. So Abraham as well was, I know you weren't with Abraham, I don't understand. Abraham has many sons, that's all we know. Oh my God, there's so many things that we also need to learn about Abraham, especially in today's workplace. And maybe that's what we use to wrap up. So that's what we're going to talk about for this quarter, and just understanding their values and how they live their life, and the things that they did and things that they did, and how we can bring that into today's workplace as a business owner, as an MSME, as a worker, as a freelancer, as someone who is a child of God and wants to be soaked in excellence. Look, the God that we serve is a God of excellence. I hope you know. If we served a God that likes to do job, he would have created heaven and earth in 3 days. I hope you know that. We would have done a crash course or boot camp. But he's not. He took his time. Let there be light, and there was light. Next day, looked. Let's separate waters from the earth and all of that. He took his time again. He came back the next day, looked. Do you have a moment of reflection as well? Because our God surely reflects. Do you also have a moment of reflection? When you read Old Testament, you actually understand how detailed God is. Especially when he would tell them how to build his temple, how many yards of rope they should use, what color, the quality of the material. You know that our God is not anyhow God. So if our God is not anyhow God and we're created in his image, you see that we cannot afford to be anyhow as well. Okay. So today I hope you learned. I hope this was helpful. I hope this is useful. I'm sure you definitely took some notes. Please, when the video is being uploaded, just put, put some comments there and let me know what you're taking out and you're going to be working with. And also tag your friends, tag anyone that you know that should just be here. I am not here to say I'm a perfect life, because tomorrow night I can see me on the road, I can be fighting. Please don't judge me. But you know, I don't do that. That was a long time ago. But I'm not perfect, but I'm just only able to learn from what changed me. And I've not always done this. I think in the last maybe 12 years or 13 years of my life was, about 13 years of my life was when I started tilting towards this and actually studying the Bible and understanding it, and understanding that it is not just to fight my enemies or fight people that I term evil ones. Sometimes my own attitude could even be an evil towards me as well. Procrastination, disrespect, anxiety, covetousness. There's so many things that you as a person could even be dealing with that could actually be your enemy. So every time when you're reading about enemy die or I shall scale through a wall, it can even be I shall scale through procrastination. I shall scale through unforgiveness. I shall scale through anger. So sometimes, but we say all those things and we're thinking that it is just you running and being a champion. There are also some attitude and some habits that we also don't have that doesn't allow us to propel and progress. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still dealing with accountability and commitment, and that's why I actually started 70 days thing now. That yesterday was actually day one, but it's okay. Today's day one, where I want to either be working for 30 minutes or skip for 20 minutes every day, no fail, for the next 70 days. So help me God. Today was day one. Regardless of how tired, regardless of where I am, because I can skip, I can walk. Anyway, I'm thankful my skipping rope is light. So regardless of maybe work has to take me to another state, to another country, whatever, it's me and that skipping rope and working out and walking around. Even if it's just walking around for 20 minutes, me and my headphones will walk around the hotel or wherever it is that I am for that 20 minutes. And I'm going to be keeping a diary of that on my TikTok, so if you want to follow, please follow. So yeah, because again, I really need to shed some weight that I've put on. I know I'm not like how I used to be, but I don't even want to get me and Etsy where I'm seeing me. I don't want that. We need to be very far from each other. But anyway, so we're all dealing with these things and we're all dealing with struggle, but the main thing is that you ask for the strength and the power to be able to combat it as well. So I hope this has really blessed you, and I do hope you share, like, and just make sure you are doing stuff. Don't be a consumer of information. Be one that consumes, reflects, action, then go back. Don't just be consuming back to back, consuming before you now become overwhelmed. Then everything is now confusing. Okay? And thank you very much for joining us today at SeunBDsCorner on the SeunBDs handle. And this is Wednesday 9:45 series, where we talk about navigating your early career years, even just your career years as a kingdom believer, making sure that the light of God that is in you is shining, and you are representing God in a good way, where at the end of that day when he calls you home, he'd say, well done my child. Make sure that every email, every phone call, every text, every target, everything you do is something that is going to make Jesus proud. And I'll see you next time. Bye everyone, thanks for joining. And you already know that we always do question and answer after every quarter. So clearly, please make sure you're taking notes so that we can definitely have our questions as well. Alright, take care everyone. Bye bye. No seal road. Sorry, let me show you guys. This is what my setup looks like. My lights. This is the YouTube one. That's why it's in landscape. And then this one. And of course, my darling husband who is watching football on Guinea. Alright, bye everyone. I'm just looking at people that joined. Nice.